Awesome. Here we go. Okay, cool. So this is the second week of our training. I'm super excited to talk to you about this stuff because this is where the action is like really happening. Okay, so first of all, last week we talked about how to invite. We talked about a whole ton of stuff actually. How to invite, well, the daily actions I gave you at the end was invite daily, right? Connect daily by sending out birthday messages on Facebook. On Instagram, there's other ways to connect, but you could literally just go into who's following you, right? And then just go through those people, like set a timer and go through those people and just like and comment on their stuff. Like find three pictures to like and comment on and then move on to the next person. Connection's really important. Another way you can connect on Instagram, which is super simple, is when you do things in stories, like put a poll up, should I wear this or that? Or ask a question or whatever. Make sure that when they do reply or like vote on that poll, that you can just reply to it and have fun. So if you're like, do you like summer, winter, or fall better? Do you know what I mean? And if they say summer, just click reply on that and be like, that's my favorite too. Or, and then ask a question, you know, what's your favorite, are you like a beach or like, or what's your favorite place to go to over the summer? Or what's your favorite thing about summer? Whatever, right? But connecting is huge on all social media platforms because it's going to increase your engagement and get more eyeballs on you. And you're building relationships. So a ton of fun, right? So that was number 2. Connect via birthday messages or Instagram. And then the other thing is post something daily, right? Today we're going to talk a little bit about social media and also about some of the things that can really trip up a coach and throw them off their game and completely ruin their business. So let's talk about those things too. I'm also going to talk about follow-up and how I do my follow-up and how I'm going to give you my strategy and you can take away from my strategy and make yours. But here's the thing, just like inviting, you want a very strategic follow-up plan. And why do I say that? Because following up is where you make your sales. It is where you get somebody on board. It's very rare that you go to invite someone and they get started right away, right? It's very rare for that to happen. It almost always happens in the follow-up. So think about that. If you're sending out invites every day and you're not following up, you're just throwing out money. Like literally, just throw it out, right? Because most sales happen in the follow-up. Okay, so keep that in mind. One of the biggest things I want to start with, though, is duplication. I have a video for you to show you about duplication. I have to try to pull it up because it kind of went away on me. So let me find that. But I want you, as you're watching this, I want you to keep in mind. Gotta find it. Hold on a second. Oh my gosh, it's being hidden on me. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. I had it. I even showed it to Amy. There it is. Okay. So let's keep something in mind. Duplication. Duplication is a huge piece of our business, and we have to keep in mind that duplication happens in everything we do. So let's talk real quick about the customer journey, right? Our very first thing we're doing can be either inviting someone or that they see our post or story, right? So it's like one or the other. Or they could happen at the same time, whatever. But we're reaching out to them, right? That reach out that we do for them is the very first time we have to be thinking about duplication, right? And we don't really think about this much, but I need to explain it to you. When you're reaching out to someone, you're reaching out to them, whether it be for asking them if they want to learn about the coaching opportunity or asking them if they want to learn about the challenge groups, right? About working on their health and fitness. That whole process, then you get them started, or you just follow up with them, you know, for a couple months and then get them started, or they don't, whatever. But once they get started, then you're going to help them get started, onboard them, help them learn how to get started, and help them stay accountable to their goals, right? From there, if you see that they're like rocking it, or they need extra accountability, you'll probably ask them if they want to coach with you, or if they want the opportunity to earn some extra money, or whatever it is. But you might ask them to move along this customer journey that we're on, right? And you might say something like, have you ever thought about earning an extra $100? Or have you ever thought about getting your Shakeology paid for? Have you ever thought about becoming a coach to help you with accountability? Whatever it is, then they become a coach, right? Then as a coach, you have to give them more information, and they go through this training process, okay? Now, here's the thing. That very first reach out, they're watching you. They're seeing what you're doing. And when you go to ask them later on in the game about maybe wanting to coach, they're going to instantly think to themselves, is this something I can do? And when they think that, they're going to think back from the very beginning when you invited them, all the way through the journey up until this point. And if they're thinking in their head, wow, that was really complicated, like I could never be a professional, I couldn't do what they do, then we have a problem. We need to make things so simple. We need to not make ourselves look like an expert, because if we do, we're going to push everybody away from wanting to be a coach. It's only going to be a very, 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 very small percentage of people at that point who are going to want to coach if we make ourselves look so important, right? Or so confident. That's why when I reach out to people, I switched it up. I started saying, hey, are you interested in getting in more info about this? And when they say yes, I literally send them a little link to a video. Why? Because I don't want to be the one explaining it to them. I don't. Because I want them to look at it and go, well, I can send people that video. I can ask them if they want to watch a video. That's not a big deal, right? It sounds simple. It sounds like, oh yeah, but I can do so much more and I could do it better and blah, 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 blah. Yes, if you want to stay in sales, right? But we're not about just being someone who pushes product over and over again. We're about helping people through this process, and then also offering the opportunity for them to earn an income for their family too. We like to help people through their health, their fitness, and their finances, right? Because that truly can change someone's life. I mean, think about it. What if you and me and all of us here could earn an extra $2,000 a month? Would it change our life? Would that extra $2,000 a month make a difference for us and our family? Would it take some stress off our backs? Would it give us a little bit more security? Would it give us more options, right? This is what we're offering them. And we have to think about that all the way in the beginning when we're inviting someone into our challenge groups, right? So anyway, I have a video to show you real quick about duplication, because the rest of what I talk about, I need this to be in your head while you're doing your invites, your follow-ups, and everything else.
If you're in Houston, if they're in a flood zone, I want the junkyard dogs on my team. I gotta look like I'm successful. And I will tell you, I've been around long enough. They're in a flood zone where they can buy a plat of the land, if they have a list of inspectors, if they have a list of underwriters. This is something that all good real estate agents in that neighborhood know, because you are putting the house of your dreams and peace of mind in the hands of that expert, of that estate agent. But what happens, guys, is people get into network marketing thinking, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business owner, and I gotta know everything. I gotta know everything. So they start learning, and sometimes they don't even get into action. But you know the next thing that happens? They're like, boy, if I really want people on my team, I want the big dogs, I want the junkyard dogs on my team, I gotta look like I'm successful. And I will tell you, I've been around long enough to have seen people fall into this trap. People that were starting to gain success and immediately started to overspend because they wanted to take those pictures in front of the fancy cars. They wanted to take those pictures in front of the big houses. They wanted to be taking those 2 or 3 or 4 big vacations so they could get their selfies, because they knew that monetarily, if they looked successful, all the big leaders were going to join their team. And if that's what you're thinking, then your system's broken. Because just like any good contest as a leader puts on their team, they want a lot doing a little bit. It's the same with prospecting. You want to find the people that are hungry, right? Network marketing was created for the average, ordinary man to take a product and move it in the marketplace so they could live an above average lifestyle. That's called a side gig. But if you feel like you're not going to make it and it's going to take too long for you to build it, and all you need to do is get the big dogs on your team, you seriously have a broken system, because no one will follow you. The 80%ers, the people that are in there to win it, let me tell you something, they love what they do because of the culture. And that's where you need to bring it. I want to tell you a quick story. So when I first got into network marketing, I was not even 2 weeks in. I was just like on fire. Fireballs were coming out of my ears, my eyeballs. I was like, oh, everybody's got to know about it. Well, I went to my very first meeting. And the way our company did the meetings is really, really cool. I walk in the door. It's like jam-packed with all these people. And they're going through and doing demonstrations. And they ask people to stand up that it had some results with the products, right? They're like, if you lost 50 pounds, I want you to stand up. If you lost 60 pounds, keep standing. 100 pounds, keep standing, right? It's really cool to watch. Really, really cool. The next thing they did was they said, if you've made over $500 last month, I want you to stand up. And they just kept going until they got to $10,000 a month. And they said, okay, everybody that's made 5,000 or more, come up here. We want to talk to you. And I was like blown away. I was blown away. I'm like, look at all these people. Wow. Well, see, when I first came in, there was this guy that was standing in a corner. I was by myself. He was standing in the corner. He was wearing dirty work boots. He had overalls on. He looked to be 50-ish, very quiet, looked super uncomfortable, kind of looking around at everybody coming in, a little confused. And I thought, oh, this industry is for everybody. But honestly, I was like, this is so cool. I love that this guy is here. But what was the craziest part about this is when they said, if you've made 5,000 or more last month and you're still standing, come up here. He's one of the guys. I'm like, what? This is the best. He went to the end of the line. He wasn't one of the first speakers. Everybody was sharing their story. Thought it was really cool. I was taking notes. There was a lady sitting in front of me. I was nursing her baby and kind of talking to the other lady next to her. She wasn't paying any attention. But I love the culture. Everybody was there. They felt comfortable. They felt like they fit in, right? It was amazing. Here is the crazy thing. They get up to him. And they say, they introduce him. They give him the microphone. And he's like, hey, my name is Bubba. And I am a chicken fence welder. And my daddy was a chicken fence welder. And yeah, I love what I do here in network marketing. And I'm like, isn't that cool? Isn't that super cool? How is he making that $5,000 a month? That's all I want to know, right? So the next thing that happens is the lady says, well, Baba, we're so happy you're here. You're just so awesome. Can you tell us what you made on your last paycheck? He's like, I certainly can. I made $10,114.12. I was like, what? That woman in front of me that was nursing her baby, pulled that baby off the breast, put that baby in a car seat, picked up a notepad, and everybody in that place, it was so quiet. They all leaned in. They wanted to hear what was coming next. And the woman said, well, we get paid twice a month. So are you saying that was for just 2 weeks? He's like, yes, ma'am. Wow, right? Wow. And what happened next has stuck with me through every single journey I've had in network marketing, because it was all about mindset. She asked him to share what he had been doing. And I want you to listen to my words here because they're very important. She said, how have you been making this amazing commission? And he said, well, I'll tell you what to do. My cousin introduced me to this because I was hungry and I needed something because I was out of work and I couldn't support my family. And he said that he was making extra income and I needed income. So he told me what to do and I did it. And then I came back to him and I did it again and again. And I just repeated it and I repeated it. He said, I tell him, you know, I don't know much about these products except that they helped me lose 50 pounds. Would you like to watch the video that I watched when my friend reached out to me that helped me lose 50 pounds? Yes. They said yes. And then he said, I don't know much about how I get paid, but all I know is that I watched this video and it helped me pay off my home, put my kids through college, and I was able to take 3 families to Aruba last summer. Right? I thought it was really amazing, and it was all in his language. He said, all I ever did was give them a video. All I ever did was put them in a chat. All I ever did was put them on the phone. Whatever it is that your company does, all I ever did. He was the perfect example of duplication, right? So when she was talking to him about this, there was one more thing that I think is most important here. This is the mindset. When his friend or his cousin said, listen, I want you to be a part of this, he said, I was coachable and I needed the money. And basically, I never thought I couldn't do it. Powerful. He said, I never thought I couldn't. And I think that is what's getting in the way of everybody. A lot of people that want to reinvent themselves because they don't feel like they're getting the results quick enough. They feel like they need to go out and start a new program or be a coach or whatever. Now, I think that is super important if that's what you've been called to. But if it's because you don't feel like it's working out because you're not getting the results quick enough, then there is something broken that has to be fixed there. Because if you keep chasing the next shiny thing, you're just going to keep chasing the next shiny thing. They think it's important that they look important. They think it's important that a new muscle is popping up on their body every day. They're taking a picture of it. They think it's important that they're taking their picture in front of fancy cars and big houses and taking amazing vacations. But when it comes down to it, the stories that sell, the stories that touch the heart, the stories that make the massive impact are the stories that are going to reach normal people, right? Normal, everyday people. If a woman that's just had a baby and another 4-year-old at home rolls out of bed, she puts on her robe, probably hasn't wiped the eye boogers out of her eye, maybe brushed her teeth, has the original messy bun. She goes and hits record, or she goes and hits live on her Facebook, and she's like, hey guys, good morning. You know, I was just wanting to share this with you because it's on my heart. I'm so grateful today. You know why? I have a newborn here and I have a 4-year-old over here that was up all night with a fever. And 6 months ago, my boss would have never allowed me to take time off to be with my 4-year-old. And today I'm at home because of this amazing industry and network marketing, so I can cuddle all day with my 4-year-old. And I don't have to answer to my boss who tells me my worth. I just want to let you know that I'm grateful. You guys have a good day. Which story is more powerful? The person taking selfies in front of the yacht, taking the amazing vacations, or the mom that's offering a solution to everyday, normal, average people? Wraps their mind around that thought and says, I can do that, right? I can do that. So, with all that said, duplication is so important. And when you are reaching out and following up every single day, you are making a massive impact because you are building that story of duplication for anyone that sees you, that's they're sitting in their living room thinking, how the heck am I going to pay my car payment next month? Looking at a picture of a yacht is not going to make them think about their immediate future. It's going to make them go, I will never be able to accomplish that. So remember, it's the little things that are the most important when we're building this business. Okay, you guys are amazing. So I need for you to go catch Ray with Take It Up a Notch Thursday.
All right, so did we get some takeaways from that? I would love to know. Put it in the chat. Where do you all find the birthdays on Facebook? That's super simple. You can find it in the events tab, but Facebook is always changing, so you can Google it and it'll show you. Amy said such great advice. Yeah. So she brought up a couple of things, a lot of things actually. They're the little things, the finding solutions to everyday problems for everyday people, the duplication, the keeping it simple, so simple, right? The replication, over and over, doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. We're not like, what we do needs to be simple, and then what we teach needs to be simple. And so I love everything she brought up. Search button and profile, type in birthdays. There you go. Colleen got your answer for you, Beth. Okay, so I hope you got something out of that, because I thought it was really good for me. So what we're going to talk about is following up. I want to give you my follow-up system that I use, and I want you to sorry, I'm trying to move everything around now. Okay, so I'm going to go over the follow-up system, and I'm going to talk a little bit about social media. But first I want to tell you the thing that I have so many years of my Beachbody career have stabbed myself in the foot from this. It has held me back so many times. It has held most people back that I know of who could be doing so much better. They have the talent, they have the potential, but the one thing that kills more dreams than anything else is distraction. And right now, we have some major distractions going on. Like, I mean, major, more than any other time in our life. We have distractions, whether it be politics, whether it be people fighting on social media and we want to read it all, whether it be information about the virus. The thing is, these things we could catch up on very, very quickly, but the media wants to grab our attention like no other. They make money off of us being distracted, right? But it's taking money out of our pockets. Another thing that can be super distracting for us is training, overtraining, getting more certificates, more this, more that, more training, more social media. Let's buy this, let's buy that. I mean, these things have been the death to my business multiple times, right? Now, I'm not saying training's not good. It definitely is. But the thing is, we need to be in action first. If we're not inviting every day, there's really no reason to be doing any extra training. Like, you've got to be inviting every day. It's the very first thing. You don't need any training to be inviting every day, right? Inviting first. Find yourself a follow-up system and then get into that habit, right? Then those two things can be tweaked as you go, but those are your habits that need to happen if you want to bring in income, right? So find those habits, get into action. Then you can train. And then if you're doing those actions over and over and over again and you're like hitting a brick wall, then you can go to your coach, your upline, and be like, hey, what do you think I need to tweak? What do you think I need to work on? Is there a training I should use? Blah, 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 right? Maybe I need to increase my network, right? But we can all be inviting without a big network. So the action comes first, right? And then we can tweak and move on and get maybe a little bit of training. And then during that training, you got to be taking action from the training before you move on to any other training, right? So these are big things. And I know I feel like there's two types of people in this business. One who takes personal development and they use personal development as a distraction and they do so much. That was me, right? And then other people who will do all the action and never do the personal development. It takes them forever to even do personal development. So try to figure out where you are personally and either tone it up or tone it down, but you have to have some balance there and your actions have to come first. Okay, so let's talk about follow-up. Like I said before, follow-up that's where your sales are going to come from. They're going to come from follow-up. So I'm just going to share with you my system and I'm going to pull up my scripts. And I also put, let me find it. I also put the scripts inside the mentorship chat. So if you are looking for it, it's my follow-up scripts right now. These Google Docs that I share are always changing. Like if I'm using something else, I will change it on the document. Okay, so keep that in mind. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so my process might be different than others. And so what I want you to do is you can actually take this, you can copy it, paste it into your own Google Doc, play with it, put your own words in it. But let me share what I do. So what I do is when I message, I'm inviting a bunch of people, I put them in a notebook. This is my 90-day journal. And you could use a 90-day journal like this, or you could just use a regular notebook, which I don't have on me, but you can use a regular notebook as well. I have 20 lines, but if I want to start doing more, then I can come on over here and do the same thing over here, right? Same with a notebook. I know some people, they take their notebook and they take the paper and they fold it in half, so then there's a crease. Then you can go down one side and then the other side. There's usually 33 spots, so you could literally invite 66 people every day, right? So that's another way to do it. So whatever your system is, make sure it's the same and make sure, like, for every day, so that you don't have pieces of paper laying all over the place, or you start one notebook and then you switch to another and then you lost that last notebook. Like, make sure you have a notebook specifically for inviting, right? First, also, if you're going to be doing all of your tracking on Excel or something like that, make sure you have it available on your phone, on your computer, what have you. Okay, so for me personally, I write down everybody on here, okay? If they get back to me saying, yeah, I'd like the video, I note on here, so right now I'm using a little circle. I'll put a little circle next to their name, and then I open a document. So I have an Excel document, and anybody I have given information to goes on to that document, because that's going to be my ongoing follow-up document, right? So it's not, the one I use is not Excel, but it's like Excel. So what I do is I put the name in, and then I put the date I want to follow up with them in the cell next to that. Me personally, if I gave somebody information, I follow up 4 days later, right? 4 plus, right? So 4 days later. So I'll put, like, if today's the 31st, I'll put September 3rd on there on the next line, right? So then when 4 days later comes around and I'm on that 4th day and I go into my document and I sort them by ascending order, I'll start up top and make sure I follow up with everybody for that day. Does that make sense? I'll also tell you how I keep everybody else on that document, but that's my running document of people who have ever been interested, right? Okay, so on here, my little circle means I put them on that document. If they say no thanks, I just put a little minus in front of their name. And then a week later, if I have people who haven't responded on that page, I'll go to that page from a week later, and I'll start going through each person. And if I've never said this before to them, I'll say this. I'll say, hey there, just making sure you got my last message. That's it. I just check in real quick. Hey, just making sure you got my last message. You could say that. You don't have to do this stuff if you want, but I find that it helps me out a lot. I only do that once per person. Like, I'm not going to, if I message them next month, I'm not going to go back again and say, hey, just making sure you got my last message. But I think it gives somebody this quick, like, have you ever saw a message on your phone, text message, messenger, whatever, you open it up, you're about to answer it, and then you get distracted, or your kid, like, throws up or something, and you just never get back to them because it's now unread, and you forget about answering them, right? It happens to me all the time. So I think that one-time courtesy of being like, hey, did you get my last message, is actually really nice. And I have people messaging me back a lot. They're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Totally forgot to come back to this. Yes, send me the video. I've had a lot of that. I've also had, yep, I saw it, not interested, thanks. I'm like, okay, no problem. Thanks so much for getting back to me, right? So I've had all kinds of answers from that. So that's my like 7-day look back, I would call that, right? Where I go back, and I've also found that I have also found that by going through each name, that sometimes I forget to put them in my follow-up system, and they would have been lost forever. Like I would have given them the information, and then they would have been lost forever. So it makes a lot of sense to go back that 7 days and check that 7-day prior page, okay? So on my follow-up page, Excel spreadsheet though, I keep that 4-day person in there, right? After 4 days, I'll message them, and that's where this says. It says, so they said they take a look and you sent them the video, but then, you know, they never replied back to you, and it's been 4 days later. I'll message them and I'll give them a little update and a story, and I'll say, hey, how are you? Sorry for not following up sooner. I've been super busy helping ladies get started with their new fitness routines and clean eating plans, okay? This is like a little, what would you call that? Like posture. This is a little bit of a posturing moment, right? Like, I've been really busy, so sorry I haven't followed up with you. It also takes it off of them and on me. So it's not like, hey, you didn't get back to me. It's more like, I've been busy doing this. And then I give them a little story. So in this case, I wrote, actually, my friend Tina, who just started with us in the group, lost 4 pounds in her first 5 days. And Katie, who just finished 3 weeks, lost 9.8 pounds. Okay. So in this case, you can use any story from your group, or you can use your own reference here, or what have you. But it's really easy to go into our groups and see some people's results, and see what's been going on lately, and just put in a little line of an update of somebody's results, right? And then I write, anyway, did you check out the video yet? That has worked really, really well for me. Okay. Now let's say they didn't answer again. So at this point, I would send them that message, and then I would put in my Excel spreadsheet 4 days later, right, to follow up with them. So let's say they don't answer again. Then I go back 4 days later and I say, hey, gorgeous, never heard back from you about that video, which is totally okay. Just let me know when it's a good time to catch up. And by the way, if this isn't a good fit for you, let me know, no hard feelings. Now, I call this like the take back. Like, hey, this might not be a good fit for you right now. No worries, no hard feelings, right? A lot of people actually will reply to this message, because they'll be like, oh, wait, I am a little interested, right? It'll get their attention because you're like, all right, see ya, peace. And then they'll be like, wait a second, no, hold on, I am kind of interested. I've had a couple people message me back after that and be like, oh, I'm so sorry I didn't message you back yet because I've been really busy, but I am really interested. So basically they were like, don't go away, right? So that message has helped a lot. Now let's say they don't answer that. Well, when I send that message, I change their date again on my Excel spreadsheet for 30 days, because that's my, like, I'm not checking in again after that, right? I'm like, yeah, we're done here. So I'll change the date on my Excel spreadsheet for them for 30 days later. 30 days later, I'll message them again, and I'll give them another kind of update, right? Where am I here? Here, this update reflect. These are some messages I'm sending out right now that are like more of an update deflect, meaning, hey, just keeping you in the loop, and then another story. And then at that point, I might not even say, are you interested? I might say, do you know someone else who might be interested in losing weight, toning up, and only 30 minutes a day at home, not having to cut out any carbs? And then give them an update of my next group. My next group starts September 7th. Like, so if not, no worries, let me know either way. I love finishing on something like that because it just takes it off of them. Like, I don't want to be pushy, right? Yes, we're in sales, but we are not in a pushy sales environment, not even close. We are just in an offering environment, right? And so I like to make sure that they don't feel like I'm being pushy, right? And so my verbiage always ends in something where it's like, if not, no worries. It's not a big deal, right? Earlier up here, I also have another one. Sometimes people do reply and they'll say, oh my gosh, yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to watch that video yet. Like, instead of just ignoring me, they'll be like, hey, yeah, sorry, I actually meant to watch the video, but I got really busy. I'll reply to them. Okay, no worries, totally get it. I've been super busy also. And, just make sure you're not repeating yourself with stories to them, right? You don't even have to put a story there if you don't want to, but I'll end it with, I might have a chance to reach out middle of next week, because I don't want to make myself look super needy, right? So I might have a chance to reach out next week. Feel free to reach out to me if you get a chance to watch it and have questions. At that point, I do put them on my follow-up list a week, when I told them that I'd follow up with them. And then a week later, I might say to them, hey, morning, we start the next group of ladies next Monday. Wanted to make sure you had a decision in, so that if you want to get started, you start with us then. No hard feelings. If timing isn't right, just let me know, right? Another peace sign. So these are all different options. And like I said, I'd want you to copy it and make your own, put it in your own words, and yours will constantly change with your verbiage to make things feel more natural to you. There's more scenarios I have on here. Sometimes I have somebody who says, hey, I'm totally cool with my workouts. I love my workout routine. At that point, I started saying, that's super awesome. I'm really either proud of you, or that's really inspiring that you're working on your fitness. Curious, and I started using the word curious a lot because I found it's a good interim word for me, like to connect my next question. So curious, are you interested in checking out how we help ladies who already have a fitness routine in place with their nutrition so they get maximum results? If not, no biggie, just let me know, right? Sometimes they're like, nope, I'm good. I'm like, cool, no problem. Thanks for getting back to me. Have a great day. Or they'll be like, oh my gosh, actually I love my workout program, but my nutrition's crap. Can you help me? Or yeah, actually tell me what you got because I eat junk all the time. Or I don't even know what to eat. I'm so confused. Any of these things, I will get back to them. And here I even wrote down so you'd have it. I might reply really simply. Awesome. We have actually 2 different courses that are super effective that also come with meal plans, recipes, etc. Do me a favor. Let me know which one of these you think you would do best with. Then I'll send you over a short video explaining it, right? And so I give them this little like graph, and then I'll send them a video for either Ultimate Portion Fix or To Be Mindset. And then I can go on that way, right? If they have their fitness and nutrition on lockdown, I might just be like, that's awesome. Have you ever thought about making some extra money, helping other ladies get into the same routine that you're in, or a similar routine, or a healthy lifestyle routine, right? I might just go ahead and ask them if they want to learn how to make some extra money. If so, then I would give them a video about coaching, right? Because I'm really trying to make sure that it's off of me and I say the least amount I can. I think it's really important. It keeps me on task, keeps my conversations flowing quickly, right? And it helps me out a ton, and it makes it seem simple for them too, right? Because if it's that simple, it is that simple. So I want them to come away with this experience saying, I could do that. Yeah, I could do that, right? So when the time comes and I say, hey, do you want to join our team and make some extra money? They're like, yeah, actually, I could do that, right? That's what I want somebody to be thinking in their head when I ask them that same question. That's how your team's going to grow. And when your team's growing, that's when you're making residual ongoing income, right? Now, if that's not your thing, if you don't want to be doing that, if you don't want to be earning like income that comes regularly every single month, whether you're selling or not, then stick with you explaining everything and making it seem a little bit more difficult, right? Or putting yourself as an expert. It might not grow your team as fast, which is no big deal if that's what you want. But if you want to like grow a team and have an ongoing growing income monthly without having to sell 100 challenge packs every month, then you might want to stick with trying to do things as simple as possible. So other questions? Does anybody have questions about the follow-up scripts that I showed you just now? Like, do you have specific questions also, like, oh, I was in this conversation and this happened and I wasn't sure where to go from there, you can unmute yourself if you do. No? All right, we're good. So we're going to move on. Let me pull up my notes.
While you're pulling that up, Ashley, it's Beth. This has been super, super helpful. The follow-up is where I'm struggling. So this has all been really, really helpful. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said that, because I was the same way. And honestly, I didn't have a system, and I didn't know anybody who really had a system to teach. There was no one, like, I never learned a system around follow-up. It was always like, people would be like, well, I invite Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then follow up with everybody Friday. But that wasn't like, that's not a system. Do you know what I mean? And so when I learned this, it was like light bulbs going off all over the place. And guys, I'm serious when I say, when I started implementing this, I have doubled and sometimes tripled my Success Club points over the last literally only a couple months. So it has made a huge impact for me, very big impact. And I just, you know, as I'm doing things, I'm making things more my verbiage, but I'm trying to stick to those principles of update, deflect, like, you know, making sure that I share a little piece of information, of a story there. And then you probably can't see this, and I don't use those. This is another huge tip, actually. I don't use the Google Sheet all the time. Okay. I use the Notes app on my phone. These are my notes for right now, like talking about now, but you see how it says, drill down. This is actually my team. I keep my team like listed on here, so I know where I'm adding people when I'm like selling challenge packs with coach accounts, right? This is my customer follow-up after I get somebody started. I just created this because I'm like, well, if this system works so well for my prospects, the people that I invited, then it should work really well for my customers too, if I know what I'm going to say to them constantly, right? Then I can just copy and paste from this. Then this is MBF, these are my invites, and then here's all of those follow-ups I was just reading off to you. I just keep it here on my phone, right? Which also is on my computer. And then links, I keep links on here. And then I pin all of these to the top, so I always have it available to me. So this is what helps me stay organized and have things at my fingertips all the time. Makes sense? So if you don't use the Notes app, maybe Google, what's that one? Google Notes or Google, I forget the name of it. But something like that would be very helpful for you to just keep it on hand all the time, so you're not always having to open up Google Docs. So that's what I use. Oh, now I just closed it, so hold on. Just lost all my notes. Okay, so another thing to keep in mind, invites, I consider those like planting seeds, right? Follow-ups are when you're like watering the seeds and getting ready to harvest the seeds. So invites are just planting the seeds. So keep that in mind. Don't always expect something from an invite. It's really important to know that. And it's really important to know that average sales of anything, it takes 6 to 12 touches, times that you talk to them or times that they like comment on your post or whatever, for them to actually buy. So keep that in mind. It's not you if you're like, why aren't these people buying? It's because you got to build this relationship with them over time. You got to keep them updated. So I do the 4-4-4, right? 4 days, 4 days, 4 days. I do a 7-day look back, and then going forward, I'll do a 30, 60, and 90-day update reflect. This is really dependent on the person. If I'm feeling out the person and they were like pretty kind of distant from me, I might not follow up. Like I might follow up in 30 days, but then I might switch it to 60 days. And then I might switch it to 90 days. Does that make sense? If I know someone, like somebody, when we were doing our blitzes, we were talking about if someone has a coach. If somebody tells me that they are doing Beachbody On Demand, which by the way, when someone says to me, when they're like, well, I have a workout program or I work out at home or something like that. If something sounds like, I'll just be like, are you using Beachbody On Demand? And they'll say yes or no. If they say yes, I'm like, that's awesome. Don't you love this program? By the way, are you already linked up to a coach? Because so many people are using Beachbody On Demand and not linked up to a coach they know. They just sign up for the free trial or sign up for something, and they just get linked up to the coach. That coach never reached out to them. You would be surprised how many people have switched over to me because they have Beachbody On Demand already, but they don't have a coach. Now, it's free for them to switch over to you. So then the next time they go to purchase or it goes to renew, now you're getting the commission, right? So keep that in mind. At that point, I would also tell them about the challenge group, but I would say, oh, great, when's your next time that it renews? And then we could talk about challenge packs, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, I'm not gonna, I realize that Beachbody is a really popular thing, right? It's very popular. So a lot of people do have that and they just don't know their coach. So ask them. Don't be afraid to ask them. I like to also remind you to, for me, it has always worked to get to the point. Like, I invite people even without them, if I'm friends with them on Facebook, or if they're following me on Instagram, then I'm going to invite them. We're already connected, right? So I just invite them. I don't try to like build a relationship ahead of time. My relationship building is during my follow-ups. Hey, how's it going? And I'll look at their posts and maybe mention something about their posts. You know what I mean? But that's where my rapport building is. It's not beforehand. I'm not like staking them out, because I know personally, if somebody messaged me and said, hey, how you doing, out of the blue, and tried to like create small talk with me, and I didn't know them really well, I'd be like, get to the point. What are you trying? Are you about to like ask me to buy something? Do you know what I mean? So that's how I am. I hate when people do that to me, so I don't do that to them, right? I just ask them if they're interested in the info. Okay, so what was the other thing? Oh, social media. So 2 things about social media, and I want you guys to keep this very, very simple, right? We can go into social media training more later, but you're either just getting started or you're re-engaging. But I want you to just talk about your story in a way of talking about it with like your best friend or whatever. Dude, I just started like this program and I'm already lost 5 pounds. Or just kind of journaling how you're doing. You've probably seen friends on social media that are journaling like their results, right, as time goes by. And it's holding them accountable, but they're not throwing out the names of the programs. And if they are, that's great. They're probably not like trying to build a business either. I wouldn't put the names of the programs. I would want them to ask me, right? So if I'm sharing this information, sharing how well I'm doing with something, I wouldn't want to put the name of the program out there, because if I do, they're probably just going to Google it and go buy it, right? So I want them to ask me, hey, what are you doing? Nothing wrong with that. And then I'll be like, oh, I'll message you. So much fun, right? Or whatever. Or it's so challenging, whatever it is, right? Then you message them, take it offline, off your profile, right? Off your timeline. The other thing I wanted to recommend is don't be afraid to not put a picture. I know like we're always like, do pretty pictures and all that, and that's true, but people respond really well just to a comment, right? You know, on Facebook where you can just make a comment and it's like pops up in a blue box or something like that. Make a comment. Lynette did really well last week. She just posted a couple times, right? One, she posted a picture of her just trying on a pair of jeans and be like, holy crap, I haven't been in this size since I was 20, right? And that's it. That's basically all she said. And then she did another one where it was just just words, said, I am down 22 pounds since mid-May. So flippin' excited, right? And then people are like, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, congratulations, blah, 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 right? And then she could follow up with all those people. So you don't have to make things very complicated. I will say, though, a couple things. Do not put the names of the products. Don't put links out there, right? And a couple other things is to, Amy suggests this. I love her idea of how to explain this. If you're talking about health and fitness, let's put your hand up and your thumb would be your health and fitness, right? But there's more to you than your health and fitness. There's multiple other categories. So maybe you're a mom, maybe you love to knit, maybe you love arts and crafts, maybe you have a dog, right? Maybe you're like into your faith. Think about things of you, and if you're not sure, ask like your best friend. Hey, if you could explain, like if you could give me an idea of what you think I'm all about, ask them, they'll tell you, right? Amy, she's like asking all of us and we're like, fashion. She's like, no way, no way. I'm not all about fashion. I'm like, oh no, you're all about fashion and like looking cute. So do more of that stuff. Look cute. Share your outfits, something, right? So be posting about those other things. Nobody wants to see all just your health and fitness, right? They want to see all these other things too. And a really cool thing is also share if you're doing something else and trying to learn something else. Like for example, I need to get back into it, but I just started trying to learn Spanish. And I'm going to be posting about that. Not a ton, but a little bit, right? And I might post my progress, like, oh, I finished my first lesson or whatever, give little, share an idea about an app, the app I'm using, give that value. Hey, I've been using this app, super awesome. So that's valuable. If somebody's been wanting to learn another language and now there's this free app I just told them about, they're going to love that, right? Try to give some of those valuable things about your days. But a couple things to keep in mind about your social media. These are the most important. A, be positive. Be positive. Nobody wants to work with somebody who's like super negative and complaining, right? So be positive. Share your solutions that you've throughout life, like share your solutions, things that have helped you. You are working on your health and fitness and you're probably using 2B Mindset or Ultimate Portion Fix, right? You can share tips from that program. There's so much in those lessons, so much. There's so much in those the monthly lessons too. You don't need to be the expert. You can be like, guys, I just learned this. Or guys, I just learned this and implemented it and it helped me with that. I just started drinking half my body weight in water and didn't think it would help a ton, but now I have so much more energy throughout the day. Like just share things that you're doing, right? Okay, so that's social media. We're not going a ton into it because I don't want you to overcomplicate it, right? Just work on posting every day from here until next week. I want you to work on posting every day, okay? If you don't know how to use stories, I want you to Google how to use stories. Just Google it. Go to YouTube, Google it. I'm not kidding. This is how we learned everything, right? Go to YouTube and just look up, how do I post a story in Instagram, right? That's one. Another one is, how do I post a story to Instagram and have it connect to my Facebook stories? Because I don't want you to be doing twice the work. If you post a story in Instagram, it can directly connect into your Facebook story, okay? So Google those things, YouTube it, and you should find like 5-minute videos that teach you how to do it, okay? So that's 2. So post every day, try to get a story or 2 up every day. Ultimately, 10 would be awesome, but just learn how to do them, right? That's really important. Just learn how to do them. Invite every day. And now I want you to follow up every day. It's really important to get that follow-up system down because this is where your sales are going to be, the inviting and the following up. I know that's that's pretty basic, and I know it's basic because that's what's important, those 2 things, and I want you to get into that habit. Lastly, I just want to keep in mind that your mindset is really important. You choose whether to be overwhelmed or not, right? We choose it. We're like, oh, I feel so overwhelmed. Well, instead of feeling overwhelmed, I want you to try to stick with the basics, break it down, Google, YouTube if you don't understand what it is, because I know technology can be a pain in the butt, right? Just Google it, YouTube it, try to figure it out. Don't try to figure out like 8 things all at once in one night, or you'll be like on YouTube for hours and hours and hours, right? And if you can't find the answer, reach out to your upline. But choose not to be overwhelmed. Choose not to be discouraged. These are things that we can choose. We can get frustrated at first, but then turn it around into finding the solution, okay? The other side of overwhelm and discouragement is clarity. So find the answers instead of feeling overwhelmed and discouraged, okay? So clarity, action plan. I gave you your action plan. It's simple. It's simple. and I only added one thing to it. So I'm sorry, I missed one. So daily invites, follow up, connect through like birthday messages and Instagram followers, right? Connect, post daily, figure out those stories. I think that's it. Those were the ones that I wanted on there. Next week, we're going to talk about growing your market. So like adding followers, adding friends, trying to make it as simple as possible. And if you want, I can also share how I'm following up with my customers. Does that sound like something that would be good to go over? Yeah, okay, cool. And just for now, just so you know, in my group and Amy's group, just to reiterate, when you get a customer, you put them in the group and you tag them on that welcome post, and that welcome post will help them go through all the steps, okay? Next week, though, I'll go over how I'm following up with those people one-on-one afterwards. Make sense? Cool. Love it. I'm so excited for you guys. This team is going to blow up. So awesome. We already did. I mean, she's not even on here now. I can't even, whatever. We'll talk about her without her on here. Amy just went 5-star. That means our whole team went 5-star. And that's so cool, guys. We are going to be an elite team this year. And that means we are the top, within the top like 200 teams in all of the 480,000 coaches. Right? We are on the top. So be excited. Be confident that you're on an awesome team. Congratulate Amy when you talk to her, because it's really cool. And I feel bad she still feels sick and she's not able to celebrate like she wants to, but we'll get her there. And if you have any questions, let us know and reach out, okay? Sound good? Awesome. Thanks, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Ashley.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.